Hello pipers, and welcome to the most anticipated episode of my full pipe collection tour. And that's going to be the Peterson episode. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure if that's going to be episode 4 right after Dunghill or episode 5 like I planned it before. I'm also not sure if that's going to be like one episode or two. Looking at the pipes, there's quite a lot of Peterson pipes. It's also my favorite brand, so I guess I'll just have a lot more to say about it, although I'm gonna try to keep it low, keep it short, because we're gonna do a very big deep dive on Peterson pipes. But before we dive into this, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Let me first of all thank you all for the amazing feedback and support that I'm getting. A lot of people are subscribing. You guys are watching the videos, liking it. I enjoy your comments. You have so many like nice questions and comments about things. And what I mostly enjoy about those series or from the feedback so far is that there isn't that much of like the wow, amazing pipes. And it's not that much about the pipes in particular, but that the history and also like the reasons as to why I decide to keep one pipe or not, and what I like about it and why, and this makes me extremely happy. All right, let's just start with the pipe that I'm going to be trying to enjoy. There's probably going to be multiple pipes that I'm going to be smoking while filming this, and that's why I chose a very small, but it's probably one of my favorite pipes to start with, and after that I'm going to pick up a Peterson. This is my little Devil's Ants. And what's interesting about this pipe, sorry, there isn't going to be like a close-up right now, but in the next episode probably. This is the closest that I've seen a pipe gets to the Kevin Costner's pipe, or the pipe that Kevin Costner used in the mini series about the head fills. It is a very old pipe, way before the series released, and if I had to guess, I would say that the early 19th century. It is a factory pipe in a sense because it has a stamp. The stamp is T & Co, and I'm still trying to figure out who made this specific pipe, because the only information about T & Co, or the only lead that I got, was Tiffany & Co, which this is not a Tiffany & Co pipe, like no chance. There was another lead about a Canadian company, I think, but that also proved not to be the real thing. But I'm gonna be smoking a Peterson tobacco, and it is gonna be a very special one. This tin is I tried to date it a couple of times, and I think we landed, like I say because I also had to ask other people, I think we landed at 70s, 60s, and it is quite possibly it's from the 50s, but I think 70s was the most plausible. And let me just light up my pipe. I'm gonna let you know a little bit more about it. Alright, another Peterson accessory that I'm gonna use is the sterling silver PPN, or the Peterson Pipe Notes Zippo. It is a limited Zippo, that's number 19 out of 39, and I think that was their 10th anniversary. 10th anniversary 2024. A wonderful lighter, and it's one of those that I'm probably gonna keep for life, and that's exactly, I got it new, unused. I didn't buy it brand new, I got it in a trade. It was unused, and I just decided to use it because it's always, I always like it when I see somebody like an old guy that has a beat up Zippo, and he's like, I've had this Zippo for the last 50 years, it has never left my pocket. I wanted to have like a lighter like that, and what better lighter than this one. Anyway, the Devil's Ants, it is a old briar, tiny pipe, and yeah, I guess we're gonna see a little bit more about it in the future episodes. The tobacco, it was crazy to me that the seals held up so long because when I opened the tobacco, first of all, there was no mold, nothing like this. It was still moist. I wouldn't call it very moist. It was on the drier side, but there was quite a lot of moisture in it. The thing is, I smoked this tobacco like only for special occasions, and by now it has gotten quite dry. But I just pack my pipe. I blow a couple of times in the pipe before I lit it, and yeah, it works fine. This is the mixture number 3, mild and mellow. It is mild and mellow, although quite strong of a tobacco. But yeah, it came with a really nice, really interesting insert showing Peterson most popular models. Maybe that will give me another lead if I manage to figure out when were those models the most popular ones, because they're definitely not the most popular ones right now. Anyway, enough about the pipes that I'm smoking, and let's get ready to start with the Petersons. I do have my trusty field notes with me, but there's nothing in there. First of all, it's so complicated to categorize all the different pipes, and it would have just taken a long time. And also, I don't want to just be like, all right, now we're doing system pipes, and it's gonna be like half an hour just system pipes. So basically I have all of them. I know which one I'm starting with only, that's it. And it's gonna be mixed. It's gonna be old, new ones, different shapes. Everything is gonna be completely mixed, and it's just more interesting this way. This being said, I will mention the era, because dating, I don't know how important it is for you or how interesting it is for you to know, but I'm really interested in the dates of my pipes. So I'm just gonna mention the era. I'm gonna write somewhere. I'm just gonna edit it. You're gonna see it on your screen, like the specific date, if the pipe is dateable to one of those. All right, we're starting with not only the first Peterson, but actually my first ever estate pipe. This is the one that started everything. Peterson 03S System Spigot. And I'm not sure which exactly finish this is, because I don't see this one like in the modern pipes, but it is basically quite dark contrast stain. It has 0 flaws, which is somewhat unusual for spigots, because seeing the price of spigots, you might think that they're extremely high grade wood, but they're not. They're not like the lowest grade, but I see quite a lot of fills on them and flaws. But this one is absolutely perfect. On the older ones, they were all like extremely nice pipes. And this is an absolutely unicorn smoker. It is extremely comfortable, which reminds me that I have to put every pipe in my mouth. And you can see this is one of those pipes where it feels completely effortless to keep it in your mouth. I don't have to clench it at all. And what I love about it, and this is like one of the reasons, I know that a lot of you smoke with a filter for all of your reasons, but just the aesthetics of the older spigots that were without a filter, the white shoulders, you can see like this, the whole silhouette of the pipe is completely different. Yeah, that was for the longest time my only pipe, and the only pipe that I smoked. This pipe will never leave my collection, because as I said, this is the one that started everything. This is the one that lit that fire and that passion for pipes in general. I guess a lot of you might be joining me for the first time in this video, and if that's the case, I highly recommend seeing the other videos like the previous ones, especially the first episode. I'm gonna put it somewhere either over here or over here. I'm gonna put a link to it, because there in the first video, in the first whatever half an hour, I talk quite a lot about the rules that I follow, the reasons that I have for collecting specific brands and pipes. As I said, Peterson is the best brand for me in general. There are other pipes that smoke better, but Peterson is different. It is a factory brand, but it is a factory brand that can produce exceptional pipes, like above and beyond the level of some brands that are a lot better than it. And most of those pipes will be found in the older days. Not only this, when I say the best brand, I always I've been asked this question quite a lot, like what would be one brand if you had to go for just one brand, which one would that be? The one that sticks with me the most, that's Peterson, because they have such a variety of interesting, beautiful shapes. They have system pipes, they have pipes with silver, without it, such variety of original designs, and they're still doing it. They still have one of the best catalogs of shapes. I would say they have such a deep archive of other shapes that they revive from time to time. At one point I was obsessed, and I am still obsessed with Peterson. A lot of people like ask me like, hey, why did you give up on Peterson? I never gave up on Peterson. I just, right now I'm in my Britwood phase where that's the most interesting right now. But I gotta tell you, whatever brand I'm looking for while on the internet, Peterson is always my first search, and when I see a pipe that I like, the one that gets me excited the most. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to check the other episodes, and even if you're not new to the channel, if you've missed some of them, they're really interesting, and I might actually even give you like a very short edit of what you've missed so far. When it comes to Peterson, you're gonna see I love silver work, not only like army mounts, spigots, system pipes, bent pipes. That's something for me that is a little bit weird, but I don't associate Peterson with straight pipes. I know that they make lovely straight pipes, but in my head, if I want a straight pipe, I'm going to other brands, and if I want a bent pipe, it's really hard for me to go out of the Peterson catalog for it. But yeah, so you're gonna see mostly bent pipes. 03 shape, that's one that I like. A lot of 314s. Other than that, when it comes to the era or the age of a pipe, I do prefer my pipes to be pre-Republic, although I gotta say like the 03, that's a Republic shape. So pipe number 2, and that's again another 03, this being the 303 or the 303 Peterson System Star, and this is going to be from the 70s, and it is a line that a lot of people don't know much about. They don't know at all that the line existed or exists. It's mainly in the 70s. They have like this deep reddish, although this specific pipe is not that red in comparison to some of the other ones that I've seen. But when it comes to the grade, it is between the standard and the deluxe. But I wouldn't, if I have to put it like specifically somewhere, it's a little bit below the deluxe. It's more closer to the deluxe than to the standard. And I'm not even sure how this at all compares to the Premier, which also is at that position. And this might be like a replacement for the Premier, but they were also at the same time on the market, so it is a bit weird. But again, this is a pipe with a well, so a system pipe. It does have a condenser. This one is like a brass condenser, or like gold plated or brass plated condenser, and they use all the regular shapes, like all the standard shapes. You're gonna find the System Star in it. It is one of my favorite lines, and also because of the whole like white shoulder stems. But yes, that was another 03. There is a weird stamp on this one, like in the back of it there's like a half stamp, but it is a stamp, it's not like a scratch or something, and I have no idea what kind of stamp that was, never seen it. But then we move to one of the few deluxe systems in my collection, which is also another weird thing. Deluxe systems is something that everyone that collects Peterson has quite a lot of them, but for me, you know, as I said, if you watched the previous videos, you know that I like the more elegant pipes, and I like the whole design with like the friction gap. Most of the deluxes feel a little bit too chunky for me, so no wonder that this next pipe is a Peterson System Deluxe, again from the 70s, but this is the 12.5 shape. Again, a shape that from my experience, a lot of people don't know much about, but this is one of the first shapes that Peterson created, and it is also the smallest shape in the Peterson catalog. Being a deluxe, it puts it at the highest grade. Oh, perfect wood, no flaws, no nothing, and this is an absolutely amazing pipe. Again, similar to the other ones. You can't even feel it. It sits so nice in the mouth. It is quite a short smoke, but that's what I like. I like to have, instead of, let's say, 3 big pipes a day, I'd love to have 6 or 7 pipes that are smaller. I get to enjoy different tobaccos, because I'm still in my tobacco testing phase where I'm just getting all kinds of different tobaccos, and I like to taste different ones. So that's just the perfect size for me. And yeah, amazing pipe, and it's a really great smoker. We went from the smallest shape to one of the biggest shapes in the Peterson catalog, and we are moving to a Peterson B42 Rua. This is a Charles Peterson collection, like a CP. The year is 2023. This is the anniversary, like 125th anniversary. Deluxe system Rua B42. What a mouthful, but I love the Rua finish, and this is one of the finishes which will make me want to buy a brand new pipe, because it's so unique. You don't see it at all in like through other brands, and it is very rare. I forgot, I watched like an interview with the Peterson guy, and he said, what did he say, like whatever, like some kind of a crazy percentage, like 0.1% of the pipes get to become a Rua, and it is a very deep, craggy sandblast, most of the time with a lot of ring grain, but at the same time it is a contrast blasting. It looks very interesting. Yes, it is a little bit pinkish, I would say, although Rua just means red in Irish. I see it more as pink, but I love it. I gotta say, I have a gripe a little bit with this pipe, and especially when we get to the episode where you're gonna see which pipes leave my collection, this is gonna be one of them. Why? Because first of all, it's very big, right? That's not a deal breaker for me, but I don't want to keep too many of those very big pipes. But not only is it big, I have a pipe with very similar shape and size bowl. It is a 68, which I love, but this one, it just doesn't work. So it is comfortable, but it feels heavy for me. If you clench it, it's completely fine, but I don't clench it. Like for the way I smoke it, this is I wouldn't call it uncomfortable, but I also not gonna call it comfortable. And this is a pipe that when I smoke, I prefer to hold it, and I generally don't like holding my pipes that much. I will hold a pipe, but I don't want a pipe that I exclusively have to hold. Other than this is an absolutely amazing smoker. We have Peterson Rua Plateu or Plateu. It is the freehand Rua. I'm not sure when it was made, but this is again a gorgeous pipe, again with this Rua finish. You have like the dark spots, you have the ring grain, you also have like the straight grain, you have the plateau on top. Gorgeous pipe, and it smokes so nice, and I have enjoyed this pipe quite a lot. I wouldn't say quite a lot, but this pipe will make me just not only smoke it on special occasions, but just as an evening pipe, right? Whenever you're on the couch and you want to watch something, you have a 2, sometimes even more hours of smoking pleasure with this one. And it is so lightweight, that I might actually reconsider parting with it now when I have it in my hand. It is such a unique Peterson, because you don't get a lot of freehands, and especially Rua, but it is a beautiful pipe. Again, see, I can't, and that's the other thing, and I have a huge gripe with this. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that I'm not afraid to like a brand or a pipe that is generally considered not as good, and at the same time I'm not afraid not to like even my favorite brand. And as I said, I love Peterson. It is my favorite brand. This doesn't mean that they're perfect and they don't have flaws. One of the biggest one is their stems. The new P-lip stems are just atrocious. If I see this kind of profile on the button on an old pipe, it will be a ruined pipe. That's how rounded this is, and for me specifically extremely uncomfortable, especially like in this shape where it's like a lot heavier, bigger, because the way I smoke, I depend on this ridge here or on the button to be sharp, to be substantial, so it can catch my top teeth. If I get a tooth mark on my stem, it's not going to be on top, it's going to be on the bottom, because this is where the pipe rests for me. And here I feel zero security, absolutely zero security, and it feels like it's just luck and the pipe is hanging by a prayer, right? Zero control. That's why this pipe never leaves my hand. It is always in my hand. If that's going to be my gripe with Peterson, that's the biggest one, is the new modern P lip stems. And I'm not even sure when did they started. That's how like few modern Peterson I have, but I have I think 3 or 4 pipes which have this type of stem, and only one of them is comfortable because it's quite small. And you know what, let me actually find that one, because it also fits a little bit with the pipes that I just showed you now, and it has the same stem. Okay, this is also I think the newest Peterson that I've gotten. Also the pipe, no, the pipe isn't the newest pipe, but it was the latest Peterson that I added to my collection, and it is another Deluxe 12.5, but this time a Rua, right? Again, it is the 125th anniversary. They're all limited. I forgot to mention this. I think the B42 was number 144 out of 200. This is number 44 out of 200. And again, Charles Peterson collection. And this is a beautiful pipe. Again, they're all very beautiful. Like the grain is amazing, the size is amazing, but we still have this extremely rounded, and just the stem doesn't have any definition. And I know where they went for with this design, and like especially like when I look at the bottom of the button, it looks very similar to the hand cut stems like from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and those stems, they were put only on exceptional pipes, exceptional like deluxe systems. They have a similar dimensions and a similar design to this, but it had so much more definition. With this pipe, I do feel a lot more control. Here I don't mind this stem because the pipe is very small. It is also extremely lightweight, so I still can't use the top ridge, but the bottom ridge has enough definition where this pipe will hang on my bottom teeth. I don't know if any of that makes sense to you. I don't know if you smoke like this or you just clench it properly or you hold it, but with this pipe I have no problems. Again, I just left my pipe, so let me relight it and continue on. Alright, so this next pipe is going to be really interesting because it kind of contradicts one of my, I'm not going to call them rules, but just like preferences, strong preferences. And specifically the one about size. There is one shape in the Peterson catalog which is unfortunately discontinued, and I have no idea why, because this is one of my favorite shapes. And it is a very, very old shape, and they brought it back for a commemorative, like again Charles Peterson, I think, yeah, Charles Peterson edition, but it is very big. And even though that it is so big, I don't know what it is about it, but it's so comfortable to me. It's so pleasing, like aesthetically. I just love it. And this is the 308. Kind of looks like the 14, shape 14, like from the original shapes, and it is very rounded, very organic, quite large, but maybe just the geometry of the chamber, it smokes fantastic for me. And it is, although very big, you can see that it has this very steep angle on the stem, which makes it absolutely perfect for, again, for the way I smoke. I don't know if I'm covering it up with the mic, but you just let it hang and you don't feel it. You don't feel the weight whatsoever on this pipe. And anyway, it is a very lightweight pipe, but it feels very similar to the 12.5 for me, and it makes no sense because it's like 5 times bigger, but it's just like the shape and specifically the angle of the stem. It's a shame that they don't have this shape right now. So we are moving to yet another spigot. This time, again, this is from my bent bulldog phase where I mentioned it in the dunghill video. By the way, if you didn't watch the video, here's a link to it. And we have actually a very interesting Spigot 80S, a natural spigot. This is their diamond shank, bent bulldog or bent Rhodesian, and it has such a nice grain. I love those natural finishes. I actually love the unstained ones, but even if it's like a very lightly stained natural finish, it is just a beautiful pipe. And the shape, it is so comfortable. It is really, really comfortable. And being a spigot, I don't know what is it about spigots, but I just love the idea. I like that if I get some kind of a gurgle, maybe I got like a too moist of a tobacco, I can just take out the stem, clean it, and put it back in. Like you would think that people choose it just because of the looks and the bling, and it is part of it. I gotta say, we are vain creatures, like pipe smokers, and we're proud of it. We're not ashamed of it. But I gotta say, it is very practical. I don't know, like yesterday, the day before that, I opened up a tobacco and I didn't pay that much attention, just packed it. I packed it a little bit like tighter, and I got gurgle on it, and I can't remember which pipe it was, but it wasn't a spigot, and it was a bent pipe, and I just had to stay, and I had to try. I tried the breathing method and nothing happened, like to the point where I just left the pipe, left it to cool down, open it up, clean it up, and then try smoking again. And you get to skip all that drama if you have a spigot or an army mount. So they are actually quite practical. And I can just imagine if something happens to the stem, a replacement of a spigot stem is way easier than the replacement of a regular stem. I guess while we're or I guess right after that 80S natural spigot, that's not the same pipe. that is another 80S natural spigot. This one is quite special though. This one has a very, very beautiful straight grain, and it comes from a friend of mine. Yeah, I got it in a trade. It has its name, which I don't know why we decided on that name. It was just like it happened. That's the Queen of Hearts. I don't know, do you name your pipes? Don't answer that question. It's cringy, but hey, we do it sometimes. And it is a beautiful pipe. Again, it is a lot lighter than the other one. They're quite different, and super comfortable. Very, very sexy shape, in my opinion. I love the shape. It's super attractive. And actually, I forgot to tell you this, but those pipes are supposed to be exactly the same, and I have no idea if you're going to be able to see that on the camera, but this one, that was the first that I showed you, and this is the second. Like the first one, it comes from the US market, right? So, and I've seen this with a lot of brands, that they will do the same pipe in a different way when it comes to the US and the European market. First of all, the shank is, let's say, 20% chubbier here, like wider, and not only this, but here the shank is square. It's absolutely square, and again the ferrule on the top is rounded, but here it is slanted a little bit, so it gets thinner towards the end. So I like, from those two, both are amazing pipes, and both are like very expensive pipes. I was shocked to see. As I said, I never buy brand new pipes from the store, but sometimes I want to check, and especially if I'm missing a shape. Like I've never had, and I can't believe that I'm gonna say this, but I've never had a 999 spigot, and that's one of my favorite shapes. I was obsessed, and I never gotten one. So I would check prices from time to time, and those pipes, like those natural spigots, they're like 500 to 600 euros for a natural spigot. which is crazy to me, but I mean, they are beautiful pipes. They're absolutely beautiful pipes. All right, I think we're moving quite fast on this video. I don't know if I don't do it on purpose. I just, every single time when I look down to pick up the pipe and I see how many pipes there are, I'm like, all right, we gotta move a little bit. Okay, this next pipe is again very, very special on so many levels. It is a pre-Republic Peterson Deluxe 8S. Again, one of the smaller or more elegant shapes, but pre-Republic, I'm pretty sure this one is like from the 40s, like 45, 46. The way it came to me, it came in a beautiful collection. The owner of the collection, I don't remember right now, but I think he was like some kind of an executive at Cap Tobaccos. Like he had those deep connections with Peterson, and he had some very interesting Petersons in his collection. All of them were like basically unsmoked or barely smoked. Here you can see a very beautiful straight grain. Also, you're gonna see the difference of stain and color, and this either wasn't a stained pipe or a very lightly stained. So here we have like the proper top tier Algerian briar, which Peterson used at some point a lot earlier, and that's also one of the reasons why I love the older ones, and they do perform a lot better than the modern ones. It has the Made in Ireland in block stamp, also no hallmarks on it. And the other interesting story is I gifted it to a friend of mine. I gifted it. There were two pipes, so he bought one, or we traded it, and he got this one as a gift. And then those two pipes came back to me a couple of months ago in another trade. This is also a very interesting pipe because it has like the original duck bone, like hand carved duck bone condenser, and it is a very, very beautiful pipe. I don't think I'm gonna hold on to it because for some reason I don't like the shape. I don't like the 4S, the 8S, the 313, like those bent billiards. Something, I don't know. There's something about it that it's just not my shape for now. This can always change. It could change tomorrow, and all of a sudden I'm all about those bent billiards. The next two pipes that I see are my two non-briar Petersons, and this first one is, I'm almost sure that that's the pipe that I would choose if you at gunpoint you tell me to choose only one pipe to keep for the rest of my life. It will have to be a rusticated Peterson Meerschaum pipe. It's African Meerschaum, which is a bit heavier in comparison to the Turkish one. I gotta say, it doesn't color the best because you have those gray greenish undertones to African Meerschaum, but it is such a good smoker. It is the complete unicorn, and not only this, but those pipes are a very consistent unicorn. Somebody asked me a question in the last video, like, oh, what kind of pipe should I look for, like if I'm looking for a unicorn? And it is an impossible question to answer, because those unicorn level, again, a unicorn is just like a term that I use. It's just a pipe that smokes better than exceptional, right? And whatever you do, whatever tobacco you put, it will perform. You can tell. You might go like, all right, downhill root briars, and that will give you, let's say, a better chance at finding one, but there's no guarantee. And at the same time, you just can find a perfect unicorn in a €10 pipe or $10 pipe. But again, with African Meerschaum, and especially like the Peterson ones, although there's quite a lot of companies like Nording, it's the same, like the same company produces the balls for them, Nording, Barley, and all of the Luxe brands from Isle of Man. But for some reason, I guess the drilling is a little bit different on the Peterson. Also the Nordings are amazing smokers. It is an amazing smoker, and I gotta say, not all of them have this like grayish undertone to them. I had quite a lot of Peterson Meerschaum pipes, but for some reason I like to keep not more than 3 Meerschaum pipes because I like to color them. And if I have like 10 of them, it's gonna be like too diluted, like how much I smoke them. So I tend to gift a lot of them to Peterson non-believers to get them into the brand. And I had a beautiful 314, that is a 314, a beautiful 314 Peterson rusticated Meerschaum, which was extremely colored, not by me, but it was very deeply colored. I'm gonna show you some photo if I find it. And I recently gifted it to a modern artisan pipe maker because he was complaining about Peterson, because he was just getting like lower grade or mid grade brand new 2026 2025 Petersons, and he was like, that Peterson is like not good and whatever. And I'm like, shh, like don't worry about it, I got you. And I sent him the pipe, and he's like, it's a crazy good pipe. But yeah, hopefully I can find the photo, because you're gonna see a crazy difference between the coloring of this one, which is already colored, and the other one. The other one had those, it was like almost like flame, like flame gradient, going from bright yellow to oranges, deep reds, and blacks on top. The next one is extremely special. First of all, those are one of the rarest lines. I wouldn't even call it a line, but let me just show it to you. It is a Peterson clay system. It's not Meerschaum, it is a clay system. And they were produced from the very beginning, right? Mostly in two shapes, either the 8 or the 12. This is the 12, this is the more rounded one. And why are they so rare? First of all, yeah, they weren't produced in like huge numbers. Also, during the wars, they were produced because lack of briar or lack of materials. But they're very, very fragile, right? You drop it once and that's it. And so not a lot of them survived. And I'm so happy with this specific pipe. You probably can see the condition on it, and there's a lot of dense chips, especially on the top. The pipe looked a lot worse when I got it, believe it or not. This is a restored pipe, but again, my restorations that I do for me, I like a lot more character in my pipe. Dense. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get like a chewed up pipe, and I have my limits. But yeah, with this one, when I got it, I was so lucky, first of all, to find the pipe. Right after I found it, literally 2 days after, I found another one. So 2 clay systems. The other one was the shape 8, which I already don't find attractive, but there was something else with the other one. It came with the original box, with the original papers, unsmoked. And those pipes, I tried to date them, and I'm pretty sure they're like from the 40s, 50s maybe. Definitely not earlier, and definitely not in the 60s, because the other one was from the 60s, where it wouldn't even have like the Peterson system, like none of those stamps on it. And I know what most of you think, like if I have those 2 clay systems and I gotta choose one, right? Which one would you choose? Of course, the unsmoked, and probably keep it in the box somewhere. That's not me. And I'm like, but this one was so chewed up, right? Too much for me. And I'm like, which one to keep? And I wrote in the forum, and I was planning to do a museum grade restoration on this one, where you get another like donor clay pipe, and you mix it with different ingredients to get the same color, and yeah, you just basically make it look like new. And it was not because I didn't like how the pipe looked and I wanted a brand new pipe, because if that was the case, I would just have picked up the other one. But it's something that I've never done, like those like museum grade restorations. And I just asked people on the forum, like, what would you do? Which one would you choose? Or I want to keep this one, but it's too much. How would you go about the restoration? And everybody had their ideas. But a friend of mine from the forum, who is also a pipe maker, he just wrote like one sentence, very simple, which just resonated so much with me. And he's like, I wouldn't do anything. I would just keep it with all the chips, all the dents, with everything, and just think of all the stories and all the stuff that this pipe went through. And I can just visualize its owner like knocking the pipe on the Irish brick roads or something like this, and it immediately implanted this vision of the guy like knocking the pipe. I'm like, all right, yeah, you got me what I was missing, and that's the whole story. And I actually am so proud of this restoration because, for example, with those chips on the rim, they were quite dangerous because they were like very sharp, and like one wrong, even if it like catches on a cloth or something, it could ruin the whole pipe. So I actually restored the pipe. Like those on the side where you see the dents, they were like a lot deeper. But it was just like more rounding up, and it was like more of a functional restoration where it didn't change the looks. I wouldn't say whatsoever. It did change, but nothing major. You can see like all the dents and all the character was preserved. And what I was extremely surprised, I thought, like in the beginning, I was like, especially when I wanted like a pirate pipe, and I did the research, and I was like, all right, clay pipes. I got some of those like German clay pipes, and I tried them. I didn't like it at all. Too hot, the pipe's too hot. I didn't like the feel of the clay on my teeth. So I bought this pipe, and I actually planned to have a couple, like this being one of them, display pipes, which that goes against every single rule that I have. But still, I would have made an exception for this one. And after I restored it, like I guess like 2-3 days, I just keep it and I look at it, and then I just realized I already forgotten about the pipe. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what that's my philosophy. If you don't use the pipe, if you don't enjoy it, and if you just put it on a rack or put it even in a box, is worse. You just forget about it, and you're looking for the next pipe, and it becomes just a possession. I'm like, you know what? Let me just smoke it, and even if it's too hot, maybe it's gonna help because it's like a bent system with a vulcanized stem. It can just hang, and it's not gonna burn me on it or anything. So I filled it up, and no joke, this pipe has very similar smoking qualities to my Peterson Meerschaum, which I just couldn't comprehend. But I guess those German clay pipes, they're so thin, right? And here you get thick walls, actually thick walls. And the whole system thing maybe helps, I don't know, but this is an amazing smoker. I wouldn't call it a unicorn, but you know what, for clay, I'm absolutely sure that's one of the best clay smokers. It's kind of a spoiler, but I might be either adding some clay systems to my collection, or they might get available for someone that wants to pick them up on the website. And the funniest thing is, who bought, I sold the other one, the brand new one. Who bought it? A guy from Hawaii. You would never think that in Hawaii there is like a community of pipe smokers, and especially for old Peterson pipes and for a clay system. I love it. It just adds to the story. And not only this, but ever since, there were 6 more people that now I know live in Hawaii, and they all smoke old Peterson pipes. I guess that's a fun fact for you. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but if you're watching this and you're a pipe smoker from Hawaii and you feel lonely and you don't see anyone with pipes, just write down in the comments, and I'm gonna try to be like a matchmaker for you guys. You can make like whatever the Honolulu pipe club in Hawaii. That'd be awesome. And everybody with like pre-Republic Petersons. I've talked my mouth off. But we're moving fast, I feel. I gotta smoke a pipe that's almost done. That's how small this pipe is. But it took me like an hour and something for Dunhill, and there were like 15 pipes, and we're 1, 2, 3, probably we're done with like 10, 11. There's quite a lot more. I love this little guy. Sorry, I'm looking right there because that's my monitor. I just wanted to see how big it looks. Alright, I'm just trying to find some logical order, not for all of the pipes, but let's just find something. And as I said, I don't have a lot of straight pipes when it comes to Peterson. And again, it's not because I don't like them, but it's just whenever I think of a straight pipe, I don't think Peterson. For some reason, there's others that are better, in my opinion. Better looking, make more sense, and when it comes to bends, it's Peterson. So I'm gonna start with a pipe that was gifted to me, and it was actually the first time I saw this legendary pipe community generosity, and it was such a crazy story. It is a very, very big collector and one of the people that I trust the most when it comes to obscure Peterson information. And I do remember that at that point I almost only had Petersons, right? And I really wanted the Pre-Republic Pete, and I haven't seen a Pre-Republic Pete at that point. And I just wrote him. I also didn't have a lot of cash at the time, but I still wrote him because I knew that he had a big collection. I'm like, my man, I know that you have a lot of Pre-Republic Petersons. I don't know if you ever want to part with them, but please keep me in mind for one pipe if you ever decide to part with it. And I was just thinking, I don't know who and when are they selling their pipes or doing a collection cleanse, but let me just put a word out. So if he decides to part with a pipe, any pipe, I didn't care what, I just wanted to have like a pipe from this era. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I have pipes that I can part with. And I'm like, oh, all right, so can you give me like a ballpark for the price? I have no idea. As I said, I haven't even seen them sold online. And he's like, oh, you know what, I really hate talking about prices with friends. I'm like, okay. And he's like, give me your address. And the guy just sent me, what, 5 Pre-Republic pipes, this temper, one more temper, a bunch of accessories, rare stuff, amazing stuff. And I was shocked. Because we were strangers. Yeah, we knew each other, we talked, but it was crazy for me, right? And I gotta say that was a moment where I felt one side of that thing, but I wanted to feel the other one. And that's probably the best feeling when we're talking in the communities, when you gift a pipe to someone. And the best honor for a pipe, in my opinion, is for it to be gifted, right? That's the biggest honor. This is one of the pipes, and this is a Peterson K straight billiard. And when I say K, it is not the K Briar that you know from the 30s or from the 40s. I think it started for the Danish market. This pipe, I'm still not completely done with the research and with dating it, but I saw the specific design. I think it was in a catalog from the 20s, so it's either 20s or even earlier. It has a made in Ireland stamp and no shape stamp, I think, and it is extremely lightweight. Again, this is full Algerian briar. Yeah, I can see it, I can feel it. I haven't done any work on it, I haven't restored it, and I don't think I will, like for example fix up the rim or whatever. Those are way too old pipes to be doing that kind of like cosmetic work. And again, this is a pipe that will stay with me, so none of that will happen to it. Alright, so we're moving from a very old pipe to a modern or more modern one. Also, if you've watched some of my videos, you know that I don't particularly care, or I don't go out of my way to buy Berthier pipes, but whenever I get a Berthier pipe, if it's a good pipe and I like it, I keep it. So we have a 1988 X105 straight billiard spigot. So a Berthier pipe. It has a beautiful grain, I gotta say, especially on one side. Really nice bird's eye. And it is genuinely very nice straight pipe. And again, I said when I say recently, that was like 4 months ago. I wouldn't say that I switched from bends to straight pipes, but I got into straight pipes, and I'm like, oh, I've been missing on quite a lot of Petersons. And this one came, and it's like, oh, it's a spigot, and I like it, and it is the right size. For example, I had a 107 spigot that was way too big for me, but the X105 is really nice. The only thing that I don't really enjoy the pipe is this specific style of the spigot. That's my least favorite, although I gotta say for a straight one, it kind of fits it, and it is a great smoker. So moving through the straight ones, there are two more. This one is a Republic pipe, but it is a very, very early Republic. So we're talking probably like 40s. What was it? When did the Republic start? 45, 49, something like that. So that's probably 40s or early 50s. And we have an army mount Peterson 120 sandblasted finish, and this is a straight system pipe, which is something that Peterson did, and it works amazing. It smokes so nice. And this one, it has a bone condenser, a giant duck bone condenser. It needed some repair because it was cracked, and again, I could have like sanded the end, because you can see it's a little bit chewed up, but it is gonna be like so cosmetic, and I don't want to like take out material unnecessary. But this is again ultra light pipe. This is a completely different type of briar that they used back then. It does not compare to anything that we have right now, and it's not because Peterson was so great with the briar that they got. No, it was just the times were different, and whatever the average was then, it's a lot better than the best right now. That's how it works most of the time. But again, due to the weight, the P-lip, it is like, it is absolutely, I can't feel it even. It's super comfortable, and again, exceptional smoker. And I do have one more, and it was part of the gift box that I received, but I still haven't smoked it. I still haven't restored it because it doesn't have the original stem. And it is like, that's not an issue for me, but it is again a straight system, and if you don't have the chimney or the condenser, then you don't have the system, and it's like weird for me, and I'm trying to find this super obscure stem before I smoke it. But I guess I'm gonna show it in the final episode. You're gonna see the grain on that pipe is crazy grain. And the last, am I lying? Yeah, it is the last straight Peterson. It is quite a recent addition to the collection, around Christmas, I think, and it has become one of my favorite Petersons, which is crazy for me because it's a straight Peterson. But it is a 1922 small army mount. I don't know, there's no shapes on it, I don't think so. It is not a system pipe, it is just like a regular army mount. And this is the pipe, if I'm going outside, and especially if I'm working, this is the pipe that I get. Also, I'll be using this pipe as an example in a specific video about like maintaining your pipes and the condition of your pipes, and especially about darkening on the rim, because you can see that this pipe is darkened quite a lot on top, and it looks burnt, but this is not burnt. This is extremely well cared of pipe. Very old one, very smoked one, but if it was smoked properly, and whoever the owner or the owners were, they took really great care for it. And this is what a healthy 100-year-old pipe should look, that has been loved quite a lot and smoked quite a lot. We're not even 1/3 done. There's no way we're gonna be doing this at one go, and looking at the stuff, we might have to go like 3 1-hour episodes just for the Petersons, which is crazy. All right, let's do some more 03s, because as I said, favorite shape. Normally I'm not the biggest fan of very dark, like black stains, but I made an exception, and I'm so glad I made this exception. And we have 03 Newgrange Spigot with the Cumberland or fake Cumberland stem, but it is a gorgeous pipe with a really nice ring grain on it. Being a 03 Spigot, I know it. It is super comfortable. It smokes really well. Exceptional. All of those. They do. I don't have like a bad Peterson smoker in this collection, like none. But also, I love the Luxe. It is such an exaggerated pipe shape. Like, I would think that if we ask somebody who doesn't know anything about pipes, they draw me a pipe, they're gonna draw this. And at the same time, it is a classic shape. It is a traditional shape, but it's also like very roundish, very like dramatic angle of the stem. Absolutely beautiful. I love 03s. Like 03s, thank God for one of my, probably that's the hardest hitting rule that I have for my collection, is no duplicates. Like that is a no, and there was only one pipe that broke this rule, and I can show you. Yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit and then show you that pipe. But there was only one pipe to break this rule. So if I get two pipes that are too similar, like for example with the 8S spigot, one of them is going to be sold. There's no way I keep two of them. There is no reason for me. Like if I just had, let's say, 6 pipes or 10 pipes, then yeah, that's my favorite shape, that's my favorite pipe, I want 2 of them. That makes sense. If you have even like 30 pipes, at this point it doesn't make sense. Get the same shape but get another finish or whatever. So yeah, that was the 03 Newgrange. And then we continue with one of those pipes that I always mention in every single episode. I always say, hey, all of my pipes are estates, and I have none of them are bought from me, like brand new from the store. There is a couple that were brand new when I got them, but they were part of a trade, and I had to decide immediately, hey, what do I do with this pipe? If I want to keep it as brand new, this means that I can't keep it at all. It needs to go to someone else who's gonna either they're gonna smoke it or they're gonna enjoy it and appreciate it brand new with the box and stuff. And usually I decide to keep it, and that's exactly that one. This is a 2025 03 or 303 Peterson Rua Spigot. Beautiful pipe. As I said, with the Rua, it's something, it gives me like those fantasy vibes, those dragony, scaly vibes. And not just because of the finish, but the coloring, the black is what makes the Rua so nice. If it wasn't for the contrast stain, it wouldn't be so impressive. And here, again, this shape works with the bad new stem, but it works to the point where it's not uncomfortable for me. But again, I don't feel anything on top, and I just rely on the bottom. So if this was even like a hair smoother or smaller, that would probably be a deal breaker. But the 03, as you can see, it's not a huge pipe, it's not a big pipe, it's relatively lightweight, the geometry is really nice, and yeah, I can keep this pipe. It's not moving anywhere. But again, here I'm utilizing the bottom of the button. But absolutely gorgeous pipe. Let me just check something. I was gonna say the only negative is that it is a 9mm filter, but I just checked, it is not a 9mm filter. It's a little bit unfortunate that it has the size and the design of a 9mm filter spigot, being a little bit on the thick side, like in comparison to the other spigots that we saw, the earlier ones. But yeah, it is still a great pipe. We have, again, from the 70s, 03 Peterson 03 Premier system. This is my favorite line or grade when it comes to Peterson. We can argue where does the Premier system stands when it's like in the hierarchy. And again, you can just say that it is between the Deluxe and the Standard, but that doesn't mean much, right? All right, it is between Standard, which is the lowest system grade, and the Deluxe, which is the absolute highest grade, especially if we're talking about those old years. Like, you gotta remember that the Deluxe from olden years, that was the top grade. And I'm just gonna ignore the fact that the wood and the briar and the materials back then were like multiple times better than the ones available right now. I'm gonna completely ignore that fact, and this will put an old Deluxe at the same level, and if we're honest about the materials, higher level than modern time Golden Supremes, which are €1,000 pipes. That's the whole magic of the old pipes, how you can get something that is way better than the best offered right now, which is crazy prices, you can get it for a regular price. I would say regular price, although you see the prices on like Deluxes, Pre-Republic Deluxes, they're not regular at all. But still, I've seen premieres, and I've seen not one. It's not like just one case. I've seen a lot of premieres that had better wood and better quality than Deluxes. So I would assume if I have to put like all those pipes from the same time period, and this is like we're very deep in speculation station, not a grain of salt, grab a spoonful. For me, we have standard system over here. We have Deluxe over here. Then the Star will be over here. And then the Premier is going to be over here. And depending on the year, it will move somewhere over here. That's just for me, and that's with my limited experience. I just have a feeling that they were, let's say, the same, because also you're going to see those quality fluctuations with the Deluxes. They're the same. But they were like, you know what, we grab the same block of wood, and if we want to do the Deluxe shapes, it becomes a Deluxe. If we want to do the standard shapes, we put it as a Premier. It still has the same system well, it has the same condenser, and it literally changed at the same point when they went from duck bone to whatever, like the aluminum. The Premier also changed. I recently checked, alright, what happened to the Premier? Do they still sell it? And I did some research, and I think I saw it on Peterson's website, and it was 120 euros, or like it was the exact same price as the standard, or even lower. I don't know, I might be remembering this wrong, but they brought the Premier so low in the modern time, which is okay. You can just call it whatever. We take this name and we put this quality, and in the 70s it was high quality, and now it is this low quality. But I was shocked, because this is my favorite Peterson line, not the Deluxe, it is the Premier. So we do have yet another 125th anniversary Peterson, and this is number 196 out of 330. 303 Premier. Does it say Premier on it? It doesn't say Premier, but I think it said Premier on the box. Anyway, a Premier Barley finish, and this is, I guess, Yora would be my favorite finish, then comes Rua, and then comes Barley. As you can see, the Barley doesn't really have the contrast stain, but it will color from the oils of your hands, from the oils from the tobacco, from you smoking it. It will color like a Meerschaum, because it is a completely unstained sandblasted pipe, and this is a really nice pipe. It smokes really well. Again, we have the I become like a grumpy grandpa when it comes to those new stems. I really dislike them, but again, on this shape it works. On this shape, completely works, but it changes the feel for me. Anyway, I'm not sure if that's the last one, but it should be. Like, I don't have way too many 03s. I'm missing all of the budget / middle class. I guess I will get them at some point, but then I'm dipping into this like proper collector, where I collect stuff to fill out blanks, and I'm very happy right now that I don't do that. Even with the 03s, you can see that I went for, alright, I want every single like line and grade, but that's not really it. I sold one. And it was from a line, and I just felt it was almost a double for me. It was a Spigot, right? It was a 03S Spigot, and I sold it because for me that was almost a duplicate to my to my smooth one, but it was just red, right? And it was, I don't know, it didn't feel so good, although it was an amazing smoker, and I just sold it. So I'm not too biased. Maybe that's actually a good point to end the episode here, that I've been talking quite a lot, and we just finished with the 03s. So let's keep it a little bit shorter, and maybe do 2 or 3 episodes for the whole Peterson, and I'm gonna shoot them at once and probably like post them a couple of days apart. So let's finish at that point. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one. While you wait for that one, go back and check the other ones if you haven't already. Bye bye.